Welcome to Zentangle Project Pack No.16. This is day 6 and also day 6 of the 12 days of Zentangle. My name is Rick.
Hi, I'm Maria, and this series to me was very exciting. I'm anxious for everybody to see it.
And I am going to use these materials, and we're going to use 2 regular Zentangle tiles, and in addition to what came in your kit, some scissors, some paper clips, and a few sunflower seeds.
Or whatever seeds or macaroni you have around.
Or little bits, things. You'll figure it out later. And just watch this whole video. And the first thing I'm going to do is find the middle of a side of a tile. And I just did that by folding a tile. And
you didn't even fold it all the way across.
Yep, just that little bit.
Oh, that's easy. I like that. That's a good trick to have in your pocket.
Right.
Love it.
So there's that. And now we're going to put a little mark on all 4 sides of those 2 tiles. And all we need is just a little mark, and it's sort of center-ish. And if you don't have all of the materials, that is okay. You can play along. And if you want to get the materials, they are on our website or from many CZTs in your area will have them. And I'm loving these, materials, the feel of the paper, being able to work with this quality of paper, and these just the opportunity to take the time to make something beautiful and fun.
This is good. This is a time for fun.
All right. So once I've found the sides, I'm going to use that lovely embosser and the edge of the envelope that everything came in. And I'm going to emboss from the back with the large ball. I found that for this particular project of what I'm doing, that worked really good. And you'll notice that I'm not putting the paper right on those dots because I'm taking into consideration what the width of that little ball is. So once I have the cross pieces, I'm going to do some diagonals. And we'll put a diagonal on all 4 corners. And I'm pushing pretty hard. And if you don't want to do it that hard, you can just do a few strokes on top of each other. And that'll do just as well. This paper lends itself really, really well to this sort of treatment. So once we get all of that, and I'm doing it on a hard-ish surface.
I'm surprised at how well we can see the scores there.
Right?
Yeah?
Well, I think the paper, is relatively thick, and check
Takes
that
it
out.
well.
So then I'll do the same thing on the second one, and I just begin it. We don't go through the whole thing, but you'll put just what we did on that one on the second one. So now we have both of them, right? Now it's time for your scissors. So pick any side and cut it to the very middle. Okay? So there's one, and let's do the other. Just right down the middle of that little embossing bit. And now you get to see what we're going to do with this. So the scoring allows you to just fold the paper and it finds that score very, very easily. And since the embossing is on the back, the it doesn't deform the front of the paper that much, but the paper still finds the score. Right?
It's
So
cool,
you can,
just like that,
right?
right? Yeah.
I like the shading. It's like sort of like coffering. That shading. So see what happens? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take both of these and make that little triangle shape.
It's a pyramid.
It's a little pyramid. Right? So again, we do the folding on the other one. And one side of these is going to be glued. So in the Zentangle tradition of gratitude, I am writing gratitude.
That's right. So I'm going to jump in here. It's one side of the cut.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
it can't be the other. It has to be one of the cut pieces.
Exactly. Right. That's a really good point. And then, okay, gratitude. And one of the big things that have gratitude for is our family. So I'm going to know that every time I touch this or move it or play with it, that there's this little hidden message of gratitude and family inside it. All right. Now I'm doing this little bit of pencil for the viewing audience. I just wanted it to be something that you can see really clearly where the fold was. And I am going to put my pen, do a pen stroke on these outer triangular folds. And just a light stroke. I'm using the PN. I turn my tile each time. I encourage you to find which position is most comfortable for your hand. Now, since the part with the gratitude is going to be seen, we don't need to tangle that. Okay, so what I'm doing here is aura-ing that center fold. So we're going to go into the three sides of this tile and aura the center fold. And again, I like to keep the part that I am aura-ing to the left of my pencil, my pen, so I'm not covering it when I draw my aura. It's also easier for you to see as well. And I'm trying to keep all of those the same. Now in this case, I wanted it to meet ever so I turned it around. Okay, so once I have those, you'll notice that I'm going to now draw these bands. It's sort of a version of either Hurry, the Tangle Hurry, or Hybrid. And you'll see the width of those bands is about the width of the combined aura.
So you're aura-ing that L shape you just put in.
And I'm going back and forth to make this sort of weaving pattern. Right? So I'm going one side, then I'll turn it and do the other side.
Isn't that like a log cabin pattern in quilting?
Right, I think so.
It's one of our earlier tangles.
Mm-hmm. And right down to if there's a little bit left. And we'll do that in each one of these, again, keeping the width of that aura or that band of, and in the Tangle Hurry, it is inspired by the rush material that was done for seat cover, seat bottoms, cushions. So rush, hurry.
We just, at the time, didn't have had a lot of time on our hands,
Right.
right?
It was, one of those playful names. Right? So we've got all of that done, and we'll do that on both of these, the exact same internal triangles. And now we have two. Gratitude and family. So I'll put my pen away, and I'm going to get my silver pen. This is really fun to play with.
Actually, it rolls out really nicely.
Yes. And I'm just going to use it to re-emphasize what I'm grateful for, and also to just get the pen flowing.
It's always nice to, I know that Martha always suggests to people that try out your pen on the back, just so you can get a feel for it before you start right on the front. And that I never regret doing that.
Right.
And you can always like twirl the edge to get sometimes a little dried lip off,
And with this pen, the lighter the touch, the easier the ink flows. And I am tangling the inner part of those first L shapes that Maria mentioned, with the idea that when this all folds together, there'll be this like silver edging to it. So I'm just playing with...
Like a corner sort of corner thing?
Yeah. Silver molding. Corner molding. Just sort of pushing that right up to the edge of that black line. Right? So the idea, you see what happens there, right? Little silver
a construction.
Edging. Yeah. And then we'll do the exact same thing on the other one. So here we are. Now the next thing that we're going to do is I want to put something in the outside corners. And this is going to be sort of a fun, playful approach. And each corner is going to be a little different. So watch this through and you'll see where we're going. I'm putting one nice big dot there. And then in the next one, I'm going to put two dots. And it's about the size of, well, you can see the reference to the end of the pen. And then just filling that in, enjoying the process of filling it in. And they might be symmetrical, or they might be a little asymmetrical. And what I was inspired to do here was that the center part was very straight and structural. And these outer triangles are going to be very unstraight and unstructural.
A little playful.
Very playful. And I'm also going to not really, well, it's like an aura with the most minimal space. Maybe it's the width of the ink itself.
Delineate almost.
Right?
Yeah.
And now we're going to do diva dance around it. But first, I'm going to put two auras around each dot. And diva dance is a wonderful, wonderful tangle to explore. I encourage you to go on the app and do a search for diva dance and see some of the amazing things that are done.
So every once in a while, as you're auraing one after another, you add a little bump.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's a bump, right? A bump in the road. And then when you go to aura it, you go around that bump. It seems so simple,
Yeah.
but it makes the most gorgeous patterns.
Well, I liken it to a cross-section of like cauliflower or celery, like if you cut cabbage, right, cabbage. And part of the charm of this is keeping the aura about the same throughout. And even if your aura strays, well, you can use the straying aura to be something, just like that.
Right.
And then under that, we'll go back and build a little bump. So you might be so inspired as you're aura-ing to just like go and just take off a little bit, because you can always go back.
Things that go bump in the night. I'm sorry, I had to say it.
Exactly. And it's this really nice combination of light and dark as well. So this can be quite a drama tangle as well. And each one is just aura-ing the next. And you can see that I've put some bumps here and there. I'm taking advantage of this moment to increase a little space there. And when I get to that bounding triangle, well, I just, maybe in a hollowbaugh fashion, pretend that it went under or outside. Just building my bumps very intuitively each time. And this is a very enjoyable tangle. It's a good exercise to stay in the moment and not planning, because you wouldn't be able to duplicate this and have the same experience. Yet there's a very structured approach in this non-structure. Isn't that cool?
Very neat. It does kind of sort of dance around.
Yes. Yeah, so go on the app and do a search for Diva Dance. You don't need to subscribe to just download it and search. And see some of the things that everybody's done with this. So the format is I start with 2 auras, and then off of that second aura, I build the Diva Dance.
Right.
Go right up to the edge. So I think that's a nice contrast to the inner simple structure. So there we have 1, 2, and 3.
How fun.
Right? Okay, so now that we've done that one, we're going to go to the second one, and in this case, we're going to continue the same idea, except we're going to increase a dot each time. So in this new corner, we will put 4 dots, and in the next one we'll put 5 dots, and in the final one, we've got 6 dots. So you may see where we're going with this. Again, on this second one, we define that bounding line on each of the triangles. And then we'll go back in. Each dot, 2 auras. And I tend to do each one of them separately. Like 1 aura on all of the dots, then the second aura on all of the dots, just so that if they're really, really close or too close for 2, I can better adapt to the situation. And then you can play with, I'm doing it counterclockwise or clockwise. see how that differs for your experience. And just going through and enjoying how these adapt to the shape that's already there. Don't have to think about it. Don't have to plan it.
Oh, that was an interesting one. That
Right?
was different, yeah.
And just sort of make it up as you go along. But still there's a very defined structure. So with my graphite lovely pencil here, I'm going to do an over and under to emphasize that these are like bands that are woven together and layering on top of each other. I'm holding the pen at a pencil at a very low angle, just pointing at that line. And then when all that graphite is laid down, and I'm just putting a tiny little bit because as we know, the whole way that graphite works is if there's a part that doesn't have graphite. So you're looking for that contrast. Ah, yes. So I wanted to add this feeling of appreciation to every step of the way to those little hidden messages. Okay, so now let's go back. And I'm just inviting the graphite into the paper, and it just naturally softens the edge. Again, the tortillon is very low angle. And it just softens that and makes it look layered. Right? Okay, I think we're getting someplace here, right?
Getting close.
Right. I'm going to add some graphite on the outer triangles, on the outer edge. And laying it on pretty thick.
It's funny, when you do the outer edges like that, you don't really realize it when you're looking at the finished piece, but except that there is a sophistication about the piece that you wouldn't have. It brings it up off the table.
Right. Good point. Yeah, it is not immediately obvious, and it just changes the tone a little bit. There's a lot of ways you can shade diva dance, but I think in this case tend to do the whole part of the tangle instead of like little bits inside it. All right, it's Mod Podge time. So we're going to make it so those overlaps are going to stick together. And I find that, after doing it a bunch of different ways, I just put a little dollop of Mod Podge where it's going. We'll spread it around. And there's something about, I don't know if it's because it's winter here and the air is really dry, but this sticks really quickly.
It does, and it sticks pretty well.
So you want to position it, make sure you've got it where you want it before you really squeeze it together. That was my experience. And I'm just going to make those outer corners overlap, right? So the edges are perfectly closely aligned. Squeeze it a bit and then put on our clamps.
It's like a wood clamp, right?
Right? Okay, that one's done. And we'll do the same thing with the second one. Align it, squeeze it, clamp it.
And wait for it to dry.
And then we're going to wait for that to dry.
Well, how many, like half an hour, 20 minutes?
For this part, it didn't take that long. I think I probably left it for an hour and then came back down. And so I take off the clamps. And now you can see what we're going to do is these go together like that. And it's really fun. And they all line up reasonably well. So I'm going to collect 6 little or big paper clips, have those ready. And this year I grew sunflowers in the garden. So these are some of the sunflower seeds. And I'm going to put a few of them in one because I want to have like a little sound effect when this moves. Now you could put beads or lentil beans or, anything that would rattle, rice, coffee beans. So we'll get some Mod Podge spread around on each one of the corners of that one. I only have to do it to one, not both. Just spread that around. And then take that, put it together. I did pay attention a little bit to how I put it together because each one of those has a double layer on one side. So I just made sure that I didn't put 2 of the 2 double layers together. And just aligning it as best it will go. Clamp that, go to the next one, just slide it over. Looks perfect. Clamp it. And then do the next one, and just pushing it down all the way around. And then once those little clamps are all on, we'll just let it rest and enjoy the sound. And then, I don't know, half hour, an hour later, or just, I forgot about it and came back to it. And it's really very solid and stiff and sturdy.
The 2 thicknesses of the Fabriano paper make a pretty sturdy, cardboardy kind of effect.
Yeah, sort of like tile plywood.
Yes.
And then I wanted to make that edge just quiet down the lightness. And I tried doing it with the pen, and that was going to take forever. So you can see what I'm doing here.
You probably could have done it with like a graphic one if we had it in the kit.
So I was really trying to only use what we had in the kit here. And so now I'm going to Mod Podge the whole outside. And just, it's one of those things that, okay, where do you hold it? And move it around. And this is...
At least the edges are stiff enough that you can hold it. And if you get it on your hands, it comes off easy.
This is actually really fun. Molly's been saying like how she's been using this for years, and it's like, it is really fun. Or it's a useful tool because it's so comfortable. And I just put this on, something so it wouldn't lean against something. And I put 2 layers on this.
Oh, you did? I didn't know that, yeah.
And you might, if you have enough Mod Podge to put 2 layers, but if you don't, that's also okay. Don't want you to run out for other projects.
Right.
And there is our little, basically a dice. Okay, so there's die. 2, a die,
a
right?
Die.
Let's see what we got
it's
there.
Cool.
2 again. So thank you for playing with us. And we look forward to seeing you next time.
See you later.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye now.